This is what some of the barriers that I came up with. Hopefully you've come up with similar. Some of you might have come up with different. I think barriers that exist in schools is commitment. You've got to have a head teacher that is, particularly in a primary school, you've got to have a head teacher that is committed to PE. Is committed to giving time for PE. So although it's mandatory that every school should commit to 2 hours of PE, you'd be amazed that there are still schools that don't commit to PE, because schools have to report back against numeracy targets, literacy targets. They have to report back against GCSE targets, A-level targets. So what is the time and commitment that a school gives or a head teacher gives? Is there a culture within the school to promote PE? It could be parental attitudes. The parents don't necessarily think time should be dedicated to PE in school. Teachers, have we got the teachers within a school to produce high quality PE? We should have, because they've done teacher training, but it doesn't mean just because they've done teacher training they're going to be able to deliver high quality PE. Do they actually know what high quality PE is? What about facilities? Have we got the facilities to motivate young children, develop attitudes, commit? There is a cost, cost to having good facilities, cost to having relevant equipment. If we're going to run after school clubs and lunchtime clubs, and we're going to bring coaches in, how we timetable PE, where we timetable it, where does it fit into the timetable? Transport could be a barrier. If you've got playing fields off campus, you have to transport the kids if you want to take kids away and give them different experiences. If we're going to bring coaches in, have we got the quality of coaches? Have we got the quantity? You might have to bring in volunteers. So there's a lot of barriers that exist that will impact on high quality PE and young children becoming physically educated. And I think until we address those barriers, it's going to be very difficult to say we're producing environments that allow high quality PE to take place. So I think for me, it's now, it's a time for change. And I think we've gone from the PES school, the PES strategy that the Labour government brought in, and we've sort of moved on a little bit now. And obviously the Conservatives are now in their second term of office. And if you understand politics, when a new government comes in, they don't like to follow the same policies that the previous government has done. So they tend to throw away what the previous government has done, and they say, right, this is our new policy. And the same was the same for PE in school sport. So October 2010, the coalition government, so the Liberal Democrats seem sort of, because the Conservatives didn't have a majority in the election, so the Lib Dems had to join with the Conservatives. And they formed their new PE and school sports strategy. So they decided they didn't want to offer school sport partnerships anymore. They didn't want to have sports colleges. They wanted to move away from that. So school sport colleges, school sport partnerships were given a red card. The government sort of withdrew that offer, and the significance of that offer of the Labour government was that young children were being offered the opportunity to do 5 hours a week of physical activity through physical education experiences. So 2 hours in the curriculum time, 3 hours additional outside of the curriculum in clubs, after school, lunchtime. So there was obviously, as you can imagine, there was a lot of animosity, there was a lot of resentment to the Conservative government initially, because lots of people, parents, pupils and teachers saw that by abolishing school sport colleges and abolishing school sport partnerships, they thought we were sort of significantly cutting the funding for school sport. And as you'll see in a minute, it wasn't so much that they were cutting the funding, they just wanted to have a different priority for school sport. So 2012, the Conservative government produced a new strategy, so creating a sporting habit for life. So this was the new youth sport strategy that the Conservative government produced. And this new youth sports strategy was about, it was still going to continue the theme of schools working with community clubs. It was just that they were going to do it in a slightly different way to the previous government. Whereas the previous government, it was more about sports colleges and school sport partnerships. This new youth sports strategy would be more about investing in primary schools and more about investing in giving students opportunities to be competitive and play competitive sport.